This is Painting Nature with Clare. Create beautiful gouache motifs of the garden, countryside, sea, river and forest by Clare Therese Gray. Published by Page Street Publishing Company. 192 pages. Table of contents. You have the usual materials section, all about the colour, which is quite useful, tints and shades, warm and cool colours, earth colours, choosing and mixing harmonious palettes. Getting started, which if you've never used gouache before is really handy. It tells you how to mix your paint, how much water to add, taking care of your equipment and taping edges. Then we go on to our basic painting techniques, so wet on dry, wet on wet, staining, creating coloured grounds, adding mixed media. Then we go on to our projects. Chapter 1, in the garden. Flower portraits, beehive and bee, garden robin, botanical silhouettes, friendly creatures. Chapter 2, in the countryside. Pheasant portrait, jar of wildflowers, floating feathers, harvest mouse, found and foraged. Chapter 3, by the river. Patterned water beetles, rainbow trout, river landscape, reeds and dragonfly, fireflies and moths. Chapter 4, by the sea, layered shells, folk seagulls, seaweed pattern, shoal of sardines, tranquil seascape. Chapter 5, in the forest, fern border, woodland mushrooms, hedgehog and birdie, songbird nest, twilight owl. The illustrations are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's very folksy, but I think you can put your own touch onto every single project that's in here. You can change the colours, you can do whatever you want with it, but it gives you some good ideas. Introduction about gouache and the author's experience with it. Then, as I said, materials. Okay, every art book basically has this section, so we'll just skip through that. Then all about the colour. So this helps you sort out harmonious colour palettes, how to use colour, gives you some basic colour theory. Getting started, so mixing your paint, which is pretty important with gouache. You need to know different thicknesses. And she gives you a list of what she uses in her projects later on. So when she talks about a speck, it means a very minute amount. And then it goes up to a large blob. So you know basically how much you're supposed to be adding, you're supposed to be mixing. Taking care of the equipment, basic painting techniques. So these are very nice to try out as well. Just paint a little square of gouache and then paint over the top of it. And you learn how to use the paints. Scraping, dry brush and creating texture. Adding mixed media. And then we go into our projects. So we're in the garden. And these are all very basic projects. They get more difficult the further ahead you go with the book. The only thing that might put some people off is that there's no traceable outline of each image, but she has put them here. I don't know if it picks up on the camera. I'm not the best artist, but I managed to draw these quite well. She gives you a list of all the colours she used and how she mixed them. So your colours might not come out exactly the same because obviously you haven't got the same paints as her. I have a very cheap set of gouache, and I was a bit too heavy-handed with the colours. But I was pleased with the projects anyway. It's all experience and it's satisfying to make up your own picture. Then she gives you step-by-step instructions on how to do it. Then we have the beehive and the bee. If you don't have grey paper, you could do a grey gouache background and then paint over the top of that. Then we have the garden robin. So again, very basic pictures to draw. They're not difficult. And they're pretty effective. botanical silhouettes. Again, your colour mixing, the supplies you might need. Friendly creatures. So we have snails and moths and other little beetles. Here she gives you some more ideas as well. And in each project, she tells you how you could take it further, what else you could do with it. In the countryside, so you've got a pheasant. And again, you can take her basic picture and you can change it into your style, whatever you want. But it's just a great way to learn how to use gouache. Yeah, I really like this book. She gives you some little exercises to do and then takes you through the main project step by step. And it's really not difficult to do them. Again, your colour mixing. She explains you how to do it. So step by step, you draw it, then you do the underpainting, then the background, and then you go over and you eventually end up with this. The Harvest Mouse. This one, as I know from experience, was a little bit more difficult to draw, but taking it step by step, it came really well. Found and Foraged. So it's quite folksy art, but it's a joy to do. By the River. Again, more insects. Then we go through trout. River landscape. I have so many projects I still want to try. I've only done a few of these. Reeds and dragonfly. Now I had to do this one, obviously. I do love dragonflies, as my readers know as well. So yes, I did try this one out. And you can see the result in my written review. Fireflies and Moths. By the Sea. So you've got shells and seagulls and all sorts of patterns you could just use on other pictures as well. So things that can stimulate your imagination, and yeah, just really good projects. I really enjoyed this book. In the Forest. So you've got ferns. And mushrooms. So you've got little woodland mushrooms. So if you're into botanical art or folksy art, then this is perfect. This is a great book to try. The Hedgehog and the Bird. Then a nest with eggs in it. And the Twilight Owl. Again, they're all very simple pictures, but so effective. And they're all fun to do. So you just follow it step by step. You can take a break in between. You can come to it, start it one day and come back to it the next. And then we get to acknowledgements about the author and the index. So yeah, this was definitely a 5 out of 5 book for me. I really enjoyed it.